Hi, I'm Kathy Mills from Short Film Edits, and I'm here with some of the cast from the Lady Bosses Small Town Valentine. How are you?
Good, how are
Great.
you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Could we get
Thanks for
you
having us.
anytime? Could we get you to start to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you? Haley, we'll start with you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Haley Lorelei, and I played Alexis Watkins in Small Town Valentine. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having us. So good to see you
Anytime.
guys again, too. It's been so long.
Yeah. Sam?
My name is Sam Morgan, and I played Blake Silverwood. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. Danny?
My name is Danny Arroyo, and I play Todd in Lady Boss's Small Town Valentine. And that's where I got to meet these two amazing people down here. Well, to me, my Zoom screen is them down here, but that's where I got to meet these two, and it was a glorious, amazing week of filming. Really was, in a beautiful location.
Hmm. That's
Wait,
true.
can
It
I
was
ask
really
something?
beautiful.
Is it that what was it? That thing where they had all the people in the Brady Bunch thing and Usher thought he was in the middle? It's the We Are the Champions. Have you guys seen that
Yeah,
video?
yeah,
And
he's like,
Usher
Yeah,
thinks that he's in the middle and he's in the bottom left
that's
corner.
really funny.
Yeah, that's what I feel like we're doing right now.
A
feels
hundred
like
Possibly.
that.
percent.
Yeah,
I'm in the top right now. You guys are
yeah.
round
So
here.
you
I'm
think
I'm the top right. That's
There
funny.
we go.
But can you believe?
We'll
Can you
find
believe
out
that?
how.
I think we shot this thing. Was it back in last October or last November? Was it of
Last
2024?
November,
Right?
we wrapped November 25th.
Mm,
wow.
Yeah. Dang! Wow. Yeah. Almost a
that's
year.
cool.
And
That's
we
cool. And
came,
Sam, it was
we
your
were
first,
in
wasn't it?
Do
This
what?
was your first vertical?
This was my very first vertical. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was my
that
and
was
you
very
so
killed
first
cool.
it.
Awesome.
vertical. I think it was I think I got a little spoiled by this one though because it was like a destination thing. We got to go stay. There was like a resort and like all these cabins, and I
That
kind
was
of
good.
was like, oh, this is what verticals. This is what the vertical thing was, and yeah. So I don't know. That was a pretty good foot to start off on, I think.
Yeah.
That's a great one. That was my
Yeah.
second vertical. That
Oh,
one.
there you go. Haley,
Yeah.
which one was that for you?
47.
That
No?
was like my eighth or ninth, I think.
That's cool.
It
That's
was great.
cool.
It's my first time traveling for one.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
It was really cool because
That's
I had
awesome.
worked with some of the crew before too. And so it was so fun to travel with friends and work with friends and then meet these two and become such close friends so quickly. And it
Yeah.
was really, really fun. I mean, it was like, it felt like camp. Like you were working and then you'd leave to go have dinner together in the dining hall in this beautiful cabin in the woods and then go to bed and wake up and do it all over again. It was awesome.
Yeah.
What
Was
was the
it
name of the
actually
town?
snowing?
Idlewild.
I don't
Idlewild.
know.
That's right. Idlewild. And to your answer, snowing, yes and no. Very little,
It
but
was
it was
really
cold
cold. It was
though.
like
Oh,
20, it was like high 20s to mid 30s while we were there. Sorry,
Got to
yeah.
that's my
turn.
cat.
I'm in
Look,
degrees, so you guys
you
are
got gotta
Fahrenheit.
you gotta give Haley gotta give Haley her props because we had some night shoots where we could get away, Sam and get away wearing like coats or whatever for our characters. She was in office attire,
Mm-hmm.
walking around outside in the
I
cold,
was
and then had that. You remember that infamous the paint fall on your head scene there? Like you could see
I'll
the
never forget
steam
it.
coming off of her. That was
That was rough.
wild.
Yeah. It was
Oh
really, really cool. But I mean, when else in life can you say you've done that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah,
it was funny though. We finished the paint stuff and then immediately like eight people would come to my side with tarps and space heaters and
and heaters. Yeah.
like Danny would stand there with a heater. Sam would stand at my side and be like, "You're
Oh,
good, you're good." And I'm like, but we
yeah,
did
it
it.
was.
yeah.
It was awesome.
I felt bad for Haley because they were told me to be very mean to her, and then I'm being mean to her, and then what in between takes she's shivering. I'm like, I'm sorry I said that, but also, are you cold? Are you okay? Just trying to warm her up and do anything I could just to make her feel comfortable because was that was not easy.
And that's a very valid point to show that you are not your character.
It's true.
I hope no one's that character. He's pretty bad, that guy. You know, I always thought Todd was a lot more complex, but maybe in the vertical space, you can really demonstrate that. But I
Mm.
honestly thought Todd's character, like he felt very close, like a kinship to you, Sam, to your character, to Blake. And when you saw how you were falling for Haley's character and you were leaving the brotherhood, you were leaving the friendship, and I was like, yo, I like that's why I think he really took offense and really came after Haley really hard. And at the end, he even tried to hurt you. You know what I mean? So I always felt that was how my character development work was. You betrayed me, a friendship that we had, like brotherhood. Like maybe I lost a brother, I replaced you as a brother. That could have been the
Yeah.
homework. And then you did that to me, and that's why I was particularly mean. That's what I always felt my homework was.
Hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm. All right, let's start the first question with Sam. It's for you.
Oh,
What aspect of your character did you find most compelling when you first read the script?
um, well, I think I don't know if it's compelling, but I definitely I enjoyed that character so much because he's just kind of a nice guy. Like there's nothing ulterior about him, and I think me as a person, I'm a little bit more. I think I'm a little, or maybe I'm less stoic than that character. I'm a little bit more goofy. But I think one thing that I discovered by playing Blake was just how much I have in common. Like, I feel like I'm a very um, the person you see is the person you get kind of guy, and I think that I didn't see it so clearly until I played this character, and I was like, oh wow, he's kind of just he is what you see at face value. He's a nice guy, and he doesn't
Yeah.
have ulterior motives, and so um, so that's what I really enjoyed and kind of what I learned. I don't know if I it was I don't know yeah I don't know if it was compelling, but I definitely learned that
Mm.
um, kind of about myself. And sometimes I feel like characters. I don't know, Danny and Haley, if you feel this, but like sometimes a character finds you
Mm.
at the right time, or like whether it be an audition or a character that you play, and you're like, wow, I needed to learn that lesson as a person, and I learned it through exploring this character. Um and I yeah, I just liked how simple and straightforward he was. I think that's what I yeah, he
Yeah.
just wasn't he's just not as goofy as I
Mhm.
am.
Yeah. I like the fact that there was, like you said, no ulterior motive. So he was just a nice guy, not a, you know, sneaky, then become nice type of guy. He was just nice all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got,
Easy to root
it's
for.
been cool. What'd you say?
He's easy to root for.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got so many messages from people who watched it about that part. You know, they're
Mm.
like, I just like that he's a nice guy. And it makes it feel like, the thing I love about the vertical space, and the thing I think is why verticals are as popular as they are, is the world is such a massive dumpster fire right now. Like, people are constantly up against, you know, human rights violations or financial distress, or, whatever the case may be. And verticals are such a nice sort of escape from the the heat of the reality we all kind of are sharing right now. And so seeing a character like Blake, where he is just so straightforward, and the messages that people sent me about that character in particular, I was like, I don't know, that felt really, really good, just overall as an actor.
Mhm.
That's really good. It's really good. All right, Haley, how did you prepare to portray Alexis's character's journey, especially the blend of romance and the small town charm?
Oh, um, I think as far as preparation, I got to really, well, I did play around a bit with the script before we shot because my character is not necessarily the nicest person in the beginning. She takes a minute to kind of let her walls down. But I don't know, I think the mix of that small town charm and the kind of brashness that she brings is, I think the brashness that she brings is all kind of performative and a defense mechanism and not necessarily who she really is. And I think it took meeting Blake, Sam's character, that just a nice person to show her that she's safe and she can just
Yeah.
be herself
I think
enough.
that may come with what you just went through as well, with in the storyline, what you just went through. You were kind of like,
Oh my gosh,
you know,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
totally forgot about that. It totally starts off with my fiance cheating on me.
Yo, that
Yep.
scene is so
I
wild, though.
forgot about that.
Can we just
That's
talk about that
crazy.
scene?
Yeah.
That is.
That was
I
the
think it's
last
like the
scene we
biggest
shot
reveal.
too.
Do what?
Oh.
That was the
That was the
last
last
thing we shot
scene.
the whole movie.
Yeah, that's the craziest opener though, with the surprise party.
Hmm.
Yo, that's
Dude,
crazy.
Yeah. But I could see why you have your walls up after that. So, you know.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
she does have a little bit of entitlement to her too. I think she
Mm.
definitely kind of felt that for a bit, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're a
think the
big
second
city
she
girl
saw that
going to a
people
small
just
town.
Mm.
yeah, it's true. And the second she started to see just people who loved each other and cared for each other, and there wasn't anything to gain from it other than just genuine human connection and love. I think she was just like, oh, there's
Mm.
way more to life than whatever I
Hmm.
initially thought.
I loved Grace's story arc in that one too, from like
Yeah, Grace
not
was
liking you at
lovely.
all to loving you afterwards. So,
Grace and I are like this. Okay.
oh, great. That's cool. All right, Danny, how did you interpret your character's role within the storyline, and what layers did you aim to add to the performance?
I might have jumped the gun and answered that a little bit before we started the questions there.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know what format we're doing here, but that's kind of the layer there. I don't think anybody intends to be bad. They don't wake up going, I'm going to do bad things. I mean, they just are either reactionary or they take the time to think things through. Todd is reactionary. And again, my homework was I think Todd feels loyalty to Sam. They don't really tell you what Todd's backstory is. I mean, he could have came from a prison life. He could have came from a bunch of things that were very negative and tough upbringing. Finds kinship in his boss. They go out, they have a few beers, maybe they try to pick up some girls, whatever. I mean, it's just like, well, this is what life is. It's great. So I had to try to find those layers of like, well, why am I particularly upset with Haley's character? Or why, he says to give her a hard time, but I give her a really hard time. And then when I start to see him backtracking, and I'm like, yo, you told me to do this, and he actually throws me up against the wall in one scene. Remember that time you threw me up against the wall there, Sam? And
Hmm.
there's a funny
And they
moment
made us
there
do it
where
against that pillar. There was like this. It was. Yeah.
there was
That.
a
Yeah. I
this
remember.
this
Unfortunately.
particular beam there had a
I
little thing
remember.
sticking out there, and I was holding on to Sam's arms as he's going, "What did you do?" Like, he's yelling at me, and I'm holding him back because I'm going, I don't want to hit my head, right? And at one point, Sam's like, I don't remember exactly, but he was like, I can't really move you as much as I can the way we're supposed to. I was like, I know, I'm trying not to hit my head. He's like, you're not gonna hit your head, fine. So I loosened the hands a little bit and I let him do the shake. And the first thing I do is I smash the back of my head. Remember that? It
Yeah.
was pretty.
I
Then Sam gives
remember.
me a hug. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So, um, but that as far as a character, to see my friend do that to me as Todd, and then he steps on my hand and he's like, give her the money back. I was like, oh my God, that was just the ultimate betrayal. And then the next thing I wind up doing is cutting, Alexis's brakes on the car, which is pretty, that's now you're taking it there. So yeah, so that's what I think. I sort of think. I don't think he thinks himself as a bad guy, but I think he doesn't know how to handle his feelings and
Mm.
his hurt feelings, except to just attack.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even after he took the money out of the wallet, he still felt compassion for you because he's like, oh, don't use his card, use my card. So he
Yeah.
still felt
Yeah,
compassion for you, even though he just threw you against a wall. So,
yeah, yeah. But yeah, Todd is he doesn't know how to handle things like that. That's why you see people who really are like that they attack or they're mean or they're brutal to others. I don't think they have the layers to just comprehend and compartmentalize and go, well, why did this happen? What's going on? Can I talk it through? They just attack, and
yeah.
that's what I saw Todd as.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. This is a joint one for you guys. So, we can pick who goes first, but can you all share a moment during production that really captured the spirit of this project?
Yes, I think the ending bit at the hotel.
That was our
Yeah.
first scene, right? Was that the first scene that
Yeah,
we
that was
shot?
that was
But
one of
I
our
was about
very
to say
first,
the same
I think
thing.
that was our
Like,
very first scene. Yeah, the last scene
no. Okay,
when
you go, you go,
I
you
come
go.
back and I'm like, there's just this guy I want to spend Valentine's Day with,
Hmm.
and that was just like the cutest way to, it was so
Mhm.
sweet. And
Yeah.
everyone was so happy filming that moment. And it just felt very like, oh, guys, we're about to make a movie. How fun is this?
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. That was a
That
sweet
was
Yo,
a
I'm
sweet
moment
glad
for
you
moment.
sure.
said that, Haley. I was like, you have to go first because I was about to say the exact same thing. And just to add to that, that was our very first thing that we filmed. Um, and the two shot became the poster for the
Mhm.
film. So like we did
Yeah,
a
that's
whole poster shoot,
great.
but like that two shot where we walk into that is what they used for the poster, which then is now the cover of like the book version. And um,
Hmm.
it was like just piggybacking off of what Haley said. It for me when I think of that project, there were so many moments with Danny, with Haley, where I felt like I was in the movie while we were making the movie.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Sometimes with acting, you're like, you're either in it or you're out or whatever. But then sometimes you're like, you're getting to feel like you're in the movie while the movie is being made. If that, I don't, does that sound?
Mhm.
I
I
don't
know
know
what
if
you
that.
No, I
mean.
No, we
totally
get
Yeah.
it.
understand
And
what you're
so
saying.
Totally get it.
that was that scene for me for sure.
Huh. Do you
Mm.
think too, I also found like when we finally had our very first like honest conversation sitting by the fire, I feel
Yeah.
like that moment for me was a really pivotal part of the story. And like that really kind of I don't know, I really felt like that was a
I
Mm.
does that
like
make
that
sense?
one a lot too. Yes.
I really
And
like
the
that.
other one is when what do I Kathy, maybe you can answer this. Where we're it's where I you come over and I'm like, if I had to have a boss, I'm glad it was you. Like the
Yeah.
goodbye, our little goodbye
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
Oh.
when we both started crying? Or did
We
I
Mhm.
were
just
like, okay,
we
wait, this
both
sounds
started
really
crying.
sad.
I was like, what the hell's happening? I was like, I don't know if this is the script.
We're
I'm
like,
sure the
wait, go
producer
get
was
real
like, we
quick.
can cut
We're
that out
crying.
in post.
That
Yeah.
was when that was
Real
just
was
after
like,
you
we'll get
had
rid of that,
paint.
don't worry.
That was just after you were covered in paint and that whole scene happened. That was when you said that.
Oh, the paint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the paint, the infamous
Mhm.
paint.
The
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah.
Red paint. How about you, Danny? Which one was you?
Boy, I don't think I had as many heartfelt moments as
Mm.
these two did. Um, there was a nice moment, but it was me totally faking it when I went into the cabin to apologize to Haley's
Mm.
character, and Sam was there, and I just apologized. And then at one point, I was being very playful, and I even called Sam a nickname. So I called Blake a nickname. What I say is, like Bad Boy Blake or something like that. Do you remember that?
Blakey
I said
boy.
Mm.
something. Do you remember
I'm
what that
trying to
was? What was it
remember.
I said?
I think he said
Um,
They
Blakey boy,
Blakey
you
boy.
said something like, "Are you
Hey,
being a
that's right.
perv as well?" Something like that.
but
Yeah,
then
but
they
they
ended up
they
not
they
using
they,
it
they
in the
cut that
final
out of
cut. And I
the
was
they
sad
cut that
about
out of
it.
the movie, the Blakey boy. There was a whole
Oh.
scene. I was like, "What do you say, Blakey boy?" So that was almost maybe as real a moment as you're gonna get from Todd when I was being playful with Blake in front of Alexis, just like, "Hey, Blakey boy," and then Haley, comes right in and she's like, "Blakey boy," and she starts making fun of
Yeah, I got to
Sam,
tease him
which was
about it.
it was great. So I thought that was maybe as pure a moment as we had. But then I go and ruin it like 10 seconds later when I'm outside monologuing, going, ha 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 ha, I'm about to do this and this to her. What does she
Yeah.
know? So I thought
Yeah.
that was a great moment for us that then led to the reversal afterward, which was cool.
I had so much
Yeah.
fun with our knife fight scene too, Danny.
Yeah. Do you remember how
That
much
knife
we ran
fight
around
scene
that
was
day? We all ran
crazy.
around.
Do what?
That was a
Look,
hard day.
w-
We did
that
paint
was
that
that was a
night
long,
too. That was a wild day. That was a
yeah.
stunt heavy
Now,
day, I'll tell you that.
massively heavy, Kathy. There was no snow in the very, very, very little snow on the ground. So they had to get some type of soapy white substance put on the
Hmm.
ground. We laid
It
in
was
it, and
cool.
then they would shoot around us, and then everything else you saw was kind of CG. But me chasing Haley, I mean, there was a moment that me running around the tree with her, we did that for like what, 20 minutes, just because they couldn't get the camera angle right. So I was like, run around the tree, chase her, and stick the knife through the tree. And I was like, no, not the right angle. Do it again. It was like, yo, are you as tired as I am? Because it was on a hill, running around. It was rocky. And Haley was a trooper because there was one point she's running and then she falls onto a mat. And how many times did you have to do that? Like 5 or 6 times just to get it right. And then me get on top of you and kind of, fake like I'm about
We
to,
ended up getting rid of the mat because you could see it. So we were just on
because you could,
the floor,
that's
remember?
right.
Oh,
That's right.
We were in the woods.
That was a lot of work. And then the fight that
It's
Sam and
fun
I
though.
had.
It's so fun doing stunts like that because it's like, I don't know, that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts of acting because when else are you going to do that? It's so
You're
mm.
cool.
just you're
Yeah.
not. But then that day began. They then went further when Sam tackles me, and now we're fighting, and then we have a whole thing going on.
Yeah.
Um, it was a good day. I slept well that night. Let me put it that way. I ate well after that, and I slept really good. It was a good day. Yeah.
Yo, but
Oh,
nobody does stunts like Haley. I have to say, after now, I think I'm where you were last year. So I'm at vertical number 10 now.
mm.
And yeah,
Nice.
right. This is for my 1 year of verticals, and I'm at number 10. And I still have to say, like, the way you do stunts, like, you go all in to the point where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe knee pads, maybe we get the turtle shell, you know? Like,
Mm.
Haley goes after a stunt. And so, were you,
Sam,
I
you
need to
need to
watch
send
the
me.
one. Did you do that mafia? What was the mafia
Oh,
girl
the
one you just
Mafia
did?
one I just did?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mafia Girl Boss.
Okay. Which one is that? What streamer is that on?
Nice.
Good short.
Good short. Okay. Do you get to do stunts in that?
Not too many. Not as many as I'd hoped. But I did one recently where I did a feature recently where it was probably like a 7 minute fight sequence. And we just were like, I mean, if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it. And we
Yeah.
went crazy. I mean, I was bruised the next day. My body, I was like
Oh,
crawling out to the kitchen. I was like, I need coffee, but I can't walk.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. It's so fun. And I think, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the adrenaline rush from it.
Were you
Didn't you
like
say
a
you
So
did one
I
where you were
like
in
the
a
fights,
pool?
but I'm like, it's fake, so no one's actually gonna hit me, so it's cool.
But
But I
didn't you
have
say
gotten
you
hurt
told me once you
before.
did one where you were in a pool fighting somebody? Isn't that true? I remember
Yeah,
last year
like
talking about that.
when I was in the pool, and then they wanted I had to pretend to drown, but you can't really like fake that necessarily as
Mm.
well as you would think you could fake it. Because you're like kind of like coming up and you're coughing and you're coming up and you're coughing, and then you're like, wait, I actually am coughing now because there is actually so much water like going into my mouth from me attempting to not really drown, and then I'm actually drowning. And yeah, that was
gosh.
tiring. We were in the pool for 8 hours that day.
Ooh,
Wow.
It was a
that's a
Yeah.
long
long
day. We did
time.
the whole sequence in there.
Ouch. That's a
But I
long
love
time. Was
stunts.
it heated at least?
Never. They're never.
Ugh,
No.
yeah.
They're always like the homeowners and or wherever we are, they're always very lovely and they're like, yeah, we turned on the heater this morning. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be really cold when I get in, that means because
Hmm.
it never warms up as fast as you would want it
no?
to. I did one in April and we were in the pool and it came out and you could see me and the male lead in the pool and we're
Shivering.
just covered in goosebumps and we're like, oh man. It's supposed to be this like tropical resort and we're just like, ugh.
Gosh.
I did a TV show a few years back, not a vertical, but just to talk about what Haley did with the pool. I had to play a guy who was painted blue because he was drowned on the beach. So I'm laying on the sand. So they had to cover me with a bunch of sand, threw seaweed on me, and the cold water kept rushing up on me. So I understand that, but that was a tough one because even when I had to clean up, they're like, "Yeah, go to the trailer, clean up." Didn't have any hot water. It was all freezing cold
Oh,
water, taking all that sand off. You never get all the sand out, by the way, just so you know. You'll always find sand days later that you didn't expect. So, yeah.
yeah. Ouch. Yeah.
Or the
It's one
fake
reason
blood.
why I'm not a fan of the beach.
Yeah, right. Just the sand.
Yeah, I don't like
Hmm.
sand at
But
all.
isn't Perth is coastal, right?
Kind of. I mean, we're kind of like where I am, I'm about 40 minutes from a
Oh,
beach,
okay.
which
Okay.
is
Mm.
fine by me. I'll take a pool over a beach. But I love sitting there watching things. Like I'm not in the sand, but I'm watching the beach. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a icky thing. Don't like sand. Yeah. All right. Another joint question.
It's
What
okay.
were some things that brought the cast together that elevated the final project?
Honestly, I think that's just like being together 24/7
Mhm.
helped a
100%.
lot since we were sleeping where we were filming and eating every meal together and hanging out after set. And like,
Hmm.
I think that that really elevated our entire performance because we got really connected really fast because of that, which is awesome.
Yeah. Most people go home after sets, don't they? And this time you like had to stay together in that.
Immediately, I wrap, I get my purse, and I'm out the door. So I
Mm,
think like being in an environment where we're sitting and we're chatting and because 12 hours a day filming with somebody is already like a lot of time with people and you get to know somebody really fast and it's really special the kind of connections you can make on a set within a week of knowing somebody and then that person's like a lifelong friend. But adding in the extra hours of we're getting there an hour early to have breakfast together, and then we're staying an hour and a half after having dinner together, and then we're walking back to our cabins and just putting our head on a pillow and then waking up and doing it all over again. And it was special. It was really, really special.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we're rooting
Mm.
for each other too. It's like, did you film that scene? Because you may show up not maybe first of the day, but by the time I get there, Haley's done two other scenes, and I'm like, how did that scene go? It's like, oh my God, it was really
Yeah.
great, cool. So we're just all rooting for each other as well, because we know what's coming up in the script, we know what's coming up for the day's scenes. Yeah, that builds camaraderie.
It
Yeah.
felt like well, I also think like the elements and we were like tucked away. Idlewild, I didn't know Idlewild is like tucked away in this sort of forest on the other side of a mountain. So it's
Yeah.
like we were really like away from civilization. It felt very in line with I think the end that they were kind of you know trying to portray in the film, and
Mm.
like
Yeah.
it reminded me of. Have you ever seen this Bing Crosby movie called Holiday Inn? It's like this old timey kind of movie,
Mhm.
and it's like White Christmas and Holiday Inn. They kind of go. It's one of those like Irving Berlin holiday movies, and they would like put on plays at these inns. There would be like performers and cabaret acts or whatever that would come, and then you do entertain the guests and all that stuff. And we were kind of doing the hair and makeup and the breakfast and all that out of a theater space. Remember, there was like that sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
stage, and
Mhm.
so it just felt very in line with this idea of like creating the Snowfall Inn, and we're changing clothes, and all these day players or whatever are kind of coming in and out, and it was great. Like
Mm.
it was hard not to feel camaraderie. I think in that type of environment.
Yeah.
That's so
That's the
true.
thing.
And there isn't, sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 you go, please.
No. I was gonna say, and I had really horrible phone service the whole time we were there, which was
Yeah,
awesome, actually, because
Mm.
you
the
were kind of
worst, the worst
disconnected
phone
in
service.
so many ways,
Yeah.
which is
And I was
great because some forced time away from your phone is always a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I was having problems with my phone too, but that's the best part about working on productions, especially ones that are tucked away like this and we're alone. I mean, the camaraderie, the friendships, so
Yeah.
that's always been my favorite. And when Sam said that this thing was out of the way and out of wild, I'll tell you, when you get to the base of the mountain, because this thing is like up in the mountains, I think it was like 18.5 miles. We had to go around the mountain, zigzag, zigzag to get to the spot from the
Yep.
base to the location. That was
Yep.
wild. That was I was and at nighttime because I remember when I got wrapped, I left around 10 at night. So I just was coasting down this thing. I didn't have to hit the gas pedal once, I tell you, because it was all straight down, but it was all curvy and curvy and curvy. But it was like 18, 19 miles of that until we got to the freeway.
Wow.
Crazy, but beautiful. Like I'd go back there just to kind of be back there, man, because it was really terrific. The stars, everything was clear. That wasn't the air.
Mm.
Didn't the air smell great up there? It was just clean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your lungs, you could take like a real actual breath.
Tell
Yeah.
me about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should go
When you were
back.
talking about the phone reception before, I'm kind of, because of what I do here, I'm always on my phone.
Yeah.
And I used to go to like a singing competition down in Gamalling, which is about three and a half
Hmm.
hours from me. And there was no phone reception. So I was forced to just not be on my phone. And you just go for your phone because that's generally what you do all the time. You just go for your phone. So it was nice just to have that area where you couldn't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I think that wouldn't it be nice if everybody's phone stopped for like just a little bit per day? Not for like emergencies, but just for
It
everything
would.
else, like just to
Wow.
force you off your phone.
Wow. The
It would. I have
anarchy.
a really bad habit of reaching for it in any
Hmm.
I wish
kind
that
of.
I wish that there was more. I mean, in LA, New York, it's I think harder to implement. But I was talking to a director about a film in Berlin, and I live there, and she's doing a film there, and we're kind of talking about it, um, and we were talking about how a lot of the nightclubs will have you check your phone, and not only that, in if you guys have been to Berlin, you know a lot of the nightclubs take away mirrors, so you don't have your phone and you don't have a mirror. So the only way that you're
Really?
perceiving yourself is through other people and how they
Wow.
interact with you.
That's dope. I
So
like that.
puts the mirror. There is no, you know,
Hmm.
self-reflecting thing. You're kind of like looking at yourself through other people, and I don't know. I wish more social spaces kind of required phone checking.
I
Mm.
love that.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just
Really
check.
awesome.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm
I
with it.
think about that.
I think it's a good energy thing. I think it's something that makes us more connected because the phones do keep us disconnected from one another as we're constantly getting bombarded with information, good or bad. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm with you, man, on that one. That's why I think we liked where we went up there because it was nature, man, nature, and it was great weather, and it was the breathing, and then us hanging out together. It was a great memory. I can't believe it's
yeah.
been a year.
I
Mm.
know. Oh,
Crazy. All right, Sam.
yep.
What did you want to bring to this character that audiences haven't seen from you before?
Hmm. Well, I like that. It's a good question. I uh I think yeah, I think I kind of touched on it already. I just what I really liked about Blake was that he what you see is what you get. And so I think I especially with vertical, you know, it's changing, right? Like there's a lot of uh um positive change, I think, in the scripts that we're finding in the vertical space. Like I just did one with one of Haley's friends, Nicole, um,
I love
where I
her.
was kind of like the other, like I'm like the love interest. Like I'm like she ends up with like a nice guy, and I'm like the nice guy, you know.
Mhm.
And so I kind of, but I don't know if that sort of there's a lot of, for lack of a better word, like toxic male female interactions in the vertical space, and so I was uh happy to have a character like Blake.
Mm.
You know, I think that it's cool that Blake and Alexis have something that is healthy, you know, and he's
Yeah.
nice to her, and he stands up to her, and he's not a pushover. He's not like a sort of like doormat for her, which is
Mm.
probably why they end up together in the end. But he also respects her as a person,
Yeah.
you know, and and sees her for who she is beyond, you know, this like lady boss.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
and more.
Yes.
So yeah, so I don't know, that made me happy as far as getting to play him.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I get a
I
lot of messages about Blake still.
Yeah.
I would say like
Good.
fans love Blake.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
he's a
actually
good
have a
guy.
funny story. Can I tell you a funny story?
Sure.
I don't
Yeah,
know if it's
I'm
not
here.
really appropriate, but
Go
it's
for
about
Yeah.
it.
Lady. So
hit it.
I sometimes I'm an adjunct professor at a university teaching like a
Yeah.
filmmaking class for actors.
Nice.
And it was 2 semesters ago. It must have been the spring semester, maybe the summer. It was the spring, I think. And I the kids were all laughing, and I was like, and and they're like they're not that much younger than me, so like the age gap, they're like 22, and so I was like whatever. And so then I saw they had screenshotted the part where he like goes down on her at on the table, and my students were looking at that picture, and I was like,
Oh
Oh.
and that's how we started the semester.
no.
Sick.
Lovely.
We started the semester.
The
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
and I was
internet
like,
has no
okay,
secrets.
Blake respects women. We support that. We like Blake. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's right. I was like, that felt like a very positive,
Like
but
that's a
I was like,
great,
oh
yeah.
no. Yeah. And so
That's
that was
funny.
week one.
Mhm.
And I was
Gives a
like,
whole
Lady
new
Boss,
meaning
You
to the
gotta
word
earn their
professor.
respect.
I know. I had like sorry, I had to but there I have it was like
That's funny.
what's that called? Like third party embarrassment, I guess. Or
Yeah.
like I was just like sitting
Yeah.
there and I was like,
Yeah.
No, they loved it too. They're like, oh my gosh, it's
I know,
Sam.
I know, I know, I
Blake.
know. I didn't want to give my students any ammo though.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, it's out. Internet is all ammo. It's out there.
Yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
that's
But at
awesome.
least they're watching your work still, though. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right. I was like, but honestly, I stand by Lady Boss. I feel like Small
Yeah,
Town Valentine.
It's one of the best.
yeah.
So underrated.
Super
Highly
underrated.
underrated. Highly underrated.
Well, I love it, which is why I wanted to do this because I'm like, let's bring it back.
Well,
Yeah,
it released 2 weeks after Valentine's Day,
Hmm.
that's funny.
which I found out after the fact was allegedly because of the CGI bear. You know the
Oh,
bear
That
that we
bear.
fight?
That damn
They couldn't
bear.
get it
Allegedly,
right.
the bear was the reason why it got delayed.
oh. There you
So
Hmm.
go. Hmm.
that's the
All right.
lore.
All right, Danny, having worked on a wide range of projects, what stands out to you about the experience of filming this one?
Well, what stands out is that it's a vertical because that was
Mhm.
only my second one, and I had to learn how to act in front of it. I remember the very first one I did was only a couple months prior to that one. They were telling me stuff like, she's standing here, you got to stand right here, and when you're speaking to her, you need to look over here, so that way the camera kind of sinks and looks. And I was like, well, say that again to me because I'm used to kind of just doing horizontals, and we're just talking to each other, and we have the two shot, we have this, we have the wide, you name it. So I had to learn to do that. Because yeah, verticals are just different. But then after, then you kind of get it, it's a fast pace. I mean, we had the good fortune that they allowed us, two or three takes, maybe four
Good.
takes. But I know I go into any of my projects knowing my lines, like really knowing it. So you don't have to worry about us not, needing five takes or whatever, unless it's something like, that they can't help with the cameras or whatever, or the setting or
Mm.
the lights, which does happen. Um, but I take each job that I do, and I'm just so grateful to be on it. Because again, once you're finished with gigs, sometimes you're just like, you don't even know what the next one is. You just know it's coming. You just don't know when or where sometimes. So sometimes when you have the good fortune of going, oh man, I do know I have another one coming up right after this. It's kind of like having money
Mhm.
in the bank and you feel good about it. But a lot of times when you're done, like when I was driving home, I was like, boy, that was fun. What's my next one gonna be? When is that coming? Shoot, do I have any auditions coming up? Damn, let's get this thing going. But best probably to best answer your question is just learning how to just shoot in a vertical space
Yeah.
and understand everything's got to be tighter, got to fit, or there's everything's in one shot going back and forth really fast. So that was kind of it, and it was fascinating to watch how they do it. I mean, they're so efficient. The people that shoot the verticals, man. I mean, in 8 days they can get 90 pages done. Less. I've
Mm.
seen 6 days getting 90 pages done. That's incredible,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The way that they shoot verticals intrigues me so much because like I've done a little bit of camera work, but obviously that's horizontal for like weddings and things like that. But for like verticals, I'm so intrigued at how they make it work and like the choreography to get everything right is really cool.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
Haley, Sam, have you heard yet? Because at Verticon, I was talking to some people, and when we were talking about vertical films, they kept referring to them as vertices. And then when I
Hmm.
Birdies.
was talking about horizontal films, like I had to be clear. I was like, when I was working on this film, was it a vertical? Was it a verti? I go, no, it was a horizontal film. Oh, horizonti. Have you guys heard this yet? Do you guys call this? It seems to
Never
be what
heard
they're,
the horizonte, but I've heard birdie.
yeah, because they were not clear when when I did this film. No, it was a feature film. So a feature vertical film. No, oh, you mean a horizonte. Got it. It's like, wow, okay.
I just
So
say
that's
vertical and horizontal.
yeah, yeah, but they're trying to be, it's 2025. It's vertices and horizontes now,
It's
so
cute. I like it.
Yeah, I haven't heard the horizontes, but I've definitely heard birdies. So
yeah.
yeah. All right. Haley, what have you learned from working on productions in the romance feel-good genre?
What have I learned?
Mm.
Ooh. Ooh. To have higher standards
Hmm.
for these men
Hmm.
That's
in
right.
dating.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, I think something though that
Mhm.
has been a really, really cool thing that I've been able to take into my real life out of doing a lot of these verticals and doing so many heavily like romantic ones is learning my boundaries and being able to express my boundaries and not being afraid to say no to things, and having that confidence on a set has translated into my real life, and I feel like I've become a much more confident and secure person because of them, and I think that that is really awesome.
That's great. I love that. Yeah. And definitely higher standards. Definitely.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yes.
No, we can't be doing the whole 80 pages of this man being the worst person in the world and he
Mm,
apologizes in the last two, and I'm like,
no.
I've always loved you. We can't be doing that. We can't be doing that.
Yeah. Every time I can't really watch one of those ones because like a little bit personal, but
Fair.
that's my life. But then I didn't forgive them. So it's kind of better, but still I can't really watch those ones too much. But yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Joint question. How does working on a smaller town character-driven romance differ from other types of projects each of you have done?
Hmm.
I think it was just so fun to be able to wait, I'd lost my entire train of thought. I had something and I swear it was right there and it was gonna be so good. We're gonna
Take
find it
It'll
two.
come
together.
back. Don't
Cut.
force it. It's
Yeah.
gonna come
Take
back.
two.
Back to one, reset.
Mhm.
Did
I guess
someone
it was
else
different
go?
because there was no, I guess we did have the like CEO kind of throughout it, that kind of
Mm,
trope. But for the most part, this was so hallmarky and so much different than any other vertical because I'm always, there's no werewolves or
This this
vampires.
this
And
could have been Hallmark, absolutely, because you said it
yeah.
perfectly. It just wasn't a werewolf vampire kind of a thing, and it was grounded.
Yeah, it was a lot more
So
grounded than most, I agree.
that makes a world of difference. How many have we seen or worked on where it's just like, what are they doing? It's like, oh my God, and you go, oh, that's just a vertical. That's what they do. But I don't know if we've had those moments in this one here. We're going, oh, that's just a vertical. That's just what it is. It's actually, it was very Hallmark, which I think is a compliment because most verticals I don't think are. They're reason why they call them verticals. They're quick and sometimes can be campy. I didn't get camp from us, not at all. And plus the acting, Sam and Haley, fantastic, wonderful.
mm,
Thank
Thanks.
you. You're great too.
yes.
Also, shout out to Rebecca. We haven't talked about Rebecca, but she's a fantastic actress.
Killer.
Yo,
She's so funny.
yeah, yeah.
She ate
Just
down. Yeah, she was great.
yeah, she's so good. The other thing I was thinking as you guys were answering too, it's like a lot of the verticals. I mean, I've had some cool ones lately. I really liked 99 Charms. This one that I did with Nicole. I thought that was pretty cool. And original. Um, and I'm doing another one coming up. But now Haley and I are doing. Never mind. We won't talk about
This
that. But
keeps happening
Haley
to
and I
us.
want to
This
get
keeps
cast. So Haley and
happening
I
to
make the
us,
same
dude.
movies. Right. So Haley and I catch the same scripts, but for different companies, and we're
No.
begging someone. So if anybody's watching this, please, here, I'll address the camera.
Put
Please,
us
Haley and I are ready to
together.
work together again. Bring Danny in. We all want to do this again. But yeah, Haley and I are about to do the same kind of
It's
whatever,
like the
whatever.
same thing, but just for different apps. But it's like the same
Ah,
script essentially. We were talking
yeah.
about it earlier. I was like, yeah, I'm
It's
doing this one,
yeah,
and yada yada yada. And he was like, I'm doing that one. And I was like, oh my God, are we
yeah.
in it together? And we were like, no, of course we're not.
But that's the second
Oh,
time that we found out we did something that was like similar, sort
The
of.
Mafia one.
Yeah.
I
But I
did a
think
Mafia
what's
one as
unique.
well.
You
Mafia's
just did one.
fun.
Yeah, I did a Mafia one back a few months back here. But I wanted to ask you guys, do you think that anybody has any other apps has redone Lady Boss?
I haven't seen it.
no.
Well,
They
that's what I
haven't?
was going to say. Is I was like, a lot of these I feel like get adapted from either one that was popular in China, or or they get sort of like re made for different platforms, and all of that. And Lady Boss did feel very singular in the sense that it's not being adapted necessarily, to my knowledge, and it's not been replicated. And I found out that it has like a very high retention rate. I was telling you this, Haley. I found
Yeah.
out recently that Lady Boss has like from in terms of watching it from like front to back, like start to
Beginning
finish,
to end?
it has a super high retention rate.
Great.
Um, and so I mean that's a testament to you guys. Like it's yeah, yeah, and I think it resonated with the people who watched it.
Well, if I may ask then, Kathy, I mean, you brought us together. We appreciate that. What did it resonate for you of all the verticals you've seen? Because I tell you, I know you've seen many. At Verticon, these women that were there, all the fans that were there, they've seen hundreds of these. And I had them all share a story before they asked the question to the people on the panel. I was like, why do you love verticals? And there were some very deep, deep, heartfelt stories. I went through a divorce. This person left me. I was abused. I was this, and the verticals got me out of my depression, got me out of my thinking, and I started following these people, and I love their acting. And I followed their story. But what was it about for you, Kathy? Because I know your story. We talked about this, but what was it about small town that made you go, I want to get these people together and talk about this? What did you like about it more than say
Okay,
others?
well, I was to a point where I was like kind of in that depressive state where I was just laying in bed watching verticals all day. That was my life. And, even though watching verticals is a great thing, you can't sit in that all day. You have to go out and do things. And then, the only time I would get out of, that rut was when I went to class because I study business. So I went to class 2 days a week. And that was the only thing that got me out of that. But I ran an editing page for a different show, a Netflix show, Heartstopper. And then I thought eventually out of this, I was like, I really want to do an editing page for the verticals. So I started doing that. And then obviously I got into interviews, which took me longer than I wanted because my self-confidence was very, very low. But I got there. And then I started doing the like initial interviews and I was like, I want to find some shows that I really, really love and get them together. And that's
Mm.
why you guys are here because I love that one and I wanted to talk to you all about it. So that's
Aw.
why we're here.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're
Anytime.
amazing.
I'm glad you're
Thank
feeling
you.
better.
You're very good at doing
Yes.
interviews as well. You're very good at it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've only
Wow.
been doing it
Lovely to chat
4 months.
with.
I'm 4 months in on interviews now, so still new to
Wow.
Like,
me. Yeah, like I said, this is my only like my second group interview with more than like two people. So, it's still very new, but I'm getting there. So,
hmm.
but thank you for making this easy to organize too. Some of them
Yeah.
aren't. But yeah, that's good. Okay, a joint question. Um, how did your individual approaches to your roles complement each other during filming?
Hmm.
I mean, how did it compliment? You guys are the leads. I mean, you fell in love, you were in love, and I mean, you compliment each other that way. I lost a friendship. I'm taking my anger out on the lady boss, and I'm trying to get feel. I mean, it's all intertwined. That's why I think it's such a good story because you know, there's a relation between me and Sam, and then there's this horrible relationship between me and Haley, where that's abusive, and I'm being abusive to her. But then these two love each other, and they don't love each other, but they really do. It's this really great circle of mixed energies of people trying to get to a certain goal here. Me, I'm trying to get my friend back and doing it the wrong way, and these two, we want the as an audience member, you want to see them get together, but man, it seems like there's always something holding them back until they do, and that's why the ending is so heartfelt and so warm and done so great.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, one thing I love about this story too is it's like you guys want to be together, but you just there's like these like superficial barriers rather than like another woman trying to get in. Like you had that little, that one section where there was another woman, but there wasn't like a major part of the storyline.
Yeah,
It was more just like these superficial reasons why you couldn't,
Hmm.
um, mm,
I agree.
rather
I
than
like.
like a deeper thing.
You know what's interesting, as I was listening to Danny talk about the process, with verticals, a big part of it for because as we said, that was my first experience on a vertical, and Haley, I remember being like, okay, so how the hell am I going to get 12 pages memorized? Like I remember that was one of our first conversations. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, but how do we do this? Like how
Mm.
how are we going to get 12 pages like every
yeah,
day? And you kind of got me into that rhythm because you do have or at least for me, I now have a very specific rhythm about how I memorize, which is informed by
yeah.
12 to 15 pages a day. You're getting the sides the night before, and um, so Haley, I remember you saying, so can I just tell them what you told me about? No.
Sure. I'm
Yeah, I
excited to
want
hear
to
what I
Okay.
hear
said
it.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to
You're like,
hear
what
What
did
it.
did I
uh,
say?
so what she told me, and I could be wrong, so you can correct me. So Haley
Mhm.
said that you, she's like, what the fuck did I say?
No.
Haley said that you get the sides the night before, and before you go to bed, you just kind of read through them. We've already read
Mhm.
the script, we've already done the table read, so then you just read
Yeah.
through the sides, which is going to be
Mhm.
12, anywhere from like 12 to 15 pages, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's hefty. She said if there is a monologue or something that you really have to like know, then maybe that's the one that you would memorize. You would like maybe do like a memorization of that. But other than
Hmm.
that, she's like, just have it all when you go to bed, then you put it away, and then you go on set, the next day, and then you're kind of just each scene you're going over it again, and then you kind of
Yeah.
just pick it up. Is that how you do it still?
That's exactly still how I
That's
do
how I
it.
do
I
it.
read it over
Mm.
the night before and then depending on the scene order, because I'll never marry the scene order either, because that's subject to change every day. They'll tell us one order that we're shooting in, and it's gonna flip-flop around. But the second I know the next scene that we're going into, I'll just read it a few times, and then it's not until I'm rehearsing with my scene partner, or at least like reading the lines out loud, that I'll really just like settle it in my body. Because then it's more spontaneous in the moment too. It's not over rehearsed. And then you can like really, I don't know. That's exactly how I do it though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still to this
Well,
day.
that's what I taught Shane Davis. That's what I
Yeah.
told him. He's like, how the fuck? Yeah, because then once I got him into
Mm.
the vert world, then he's like, how do I? He's like, yo, man. So 12 to 15 pages. And I was like, okay, sit down. This is what Haley told me.
Right. Mhm.
So
How
if
do
you
you do
guys
it,
work
Danny?
together, then
And what's
you'll.
funny is that I like that, and it's probably would save me a lot of time, but I actually write all mine out. Like
Oh.
I write all my scenes
Wow.
out,
Wow.
and as I'm writing it out and I'm in my head going over it, I'm like, I could add a line here, or I could add a pause there. Like I'm very particular. And then I record it on my phone where I answer back. I'm jogging and I'm listening to the thing over and over again. And then when I get on set, I'm like not committed to the specifics, but at least I've rehearsed it every way possible. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, what we do is a lot of work, but
Mhm.
I just came back from having films in Nashville. I was there for like a few weeks filming this feature film. How it was like a 150-page script that had like 99 pages of dialogue, and it took me like 4 days of just rehearsing, going over everything, writing everything out there. But if I didn't do that, like for me, I have to really have it in me and stuff. But that's just how I was taught way back when. So
Mhm.
now it's just a habit. I write everything out.
I do
Wow.
that for certain roles. My heavier, um, my more intense roles, I'll write them out.
All right, yeah,
'Cause that helps me like process the feeling of it a little bit better
yeah.
for the
I mean,
heavier, deeper
I
ones.
had I had like 3 weeks ago, I filmed this other film, and it was like a page and a half long monologue. I mean, seriously, it was just like this long. Next page, this long, and it was just like God. So just to be able to write it out, maybe write a section out, get that memorized, and then memorize the next part, and then go back over the last two, and then go over the third part, and then do all three together. So it was like I have to do chunks at a time, and then keep going back, adding the new piece of material time when it gets to be that wordy. But it worked.
Hmm.
I mean, I was able to get it, and then let it go and let it just be organic and be what it is.
Is it more
Yeah.
about writing it out for you guys or just having it on paper?
I like a
Right.
physical copy.
Yeah. So you don't
Like,
always get a
Yeah,
physical copy?
physical copy. Yeah, I like the paper. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
there's an app called Evernote. Love this app. You can actually screenshot like a photo of like you could take a photo of a book or something, and then it translates it onto like text for you. So you
Oh,
can like just lift it straight off and turn it into text, which might be an
interesting.
easier way to get it all on paper for you guys. You could just take
yeah.
a
It,
photo.
it
It
sounds. I mean,
Yeah.
it does sound cool, but for me, I have to.
Yeah, that's why I asked,
I
is it
gotta
better to
write
like
it out.
do you need to write it
Got
out
to
or
write
just
out what the dialogue is,
yeah.
and got to write the dialogue.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah. So I didn't know if it was
yeah.
more just having it there on paper or just physically writing it out that needed to be that kind of yeah.
For me, hey, look,
Yeah.
what I do is different from a lot of other people. We all have our
Mm,
process. We've all taken classes and gone to different places to study. And at the end of the day, it's just about being as real as can be, as
mm,
organic as can be, as having as much truth in the scene, and bouncing off one another here. You know what I mean? As you're listening and responding, listening and responding. That's all it is.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Sam, was
Yeah.
there a particular moment on set that helped you fully click into your character?
Oh, you got some. Yeah, you got good questions.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, you do really great questions.
I know,
Thank
I
you.
know. I feel like I'm like the meme, with like the math, the lady with the math, and like I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. Ask me. It's when the character clicked. What scene? You should say in
Yeah,
which
so
part.
like was there a moment that it kind of like clicked into your character?
I would say, hmm. I mean, I guess we did start shooting with the end of the film. Like our very first scene was the very end of the movie, and I I kind of feel like the funny thing about for me for acting is that I'm like God, I would do it again, and I would maybe do this part different, or I would have like a different idea about how I did this
Mhm.
part. I always have things I would do differently.
Yeah.
Mm,
But what was really cool is that like Haley and I, from our chemistry read, had like just a rapport, like instant
mm,
rapport, which happens sometimes. Sometimes with actors, you get that, but it just makes things easy. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was
Like,
easy. Yeah,
you know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? Like, it was like, I feel like, it sounds cheesy, but I feel like when I was just with Haley, I was like, oh yeah, I get what this movie's about. And I also felt
Mhm.
like we had similar visions for what the film was. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like Haley and I just had this similar imaginative space that I felt like we shared. You know what I'm saying? Didn't you feel that a little
yeah.
bit, Haley?
No, like 100%.
Yeah,
Mm,
It
it
was
was
more
like
like
day one.
it
I was
was
like, yeah, that's the movie.
easy.
mm. That's
The
Yeah.
good.
hardest part was driving up the mountain. Everything else was so,
Yeah,
you know?
the mountain was crazy.
Oh gosh, they do look like very, very windy. But like the roads were like thin as well, weren't they? Or were they quite?
Yeah, it was kind of scary.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go fast. There's so
no.
many curves. Just like I said, when I left, I was just coasting down. I didn't have the gas pedal
Mm.
one time, just coasted all the way down. It was great. Yeah.
But the views looked good. Like just from you driving down the road, that like one little bit, you got to see like a little bit of the view, and you're like, oh, that's gorgeous. But yeah.
Yeah.
The sky was
Beautiful.
clear. It was amazing. I'll never
Mm.
forget it. It was pretty great.
No, good. All right, Haley, what do you think your character brings to the film that audiences will connect with you most?
Ooh. Um, I think her fear of vulnerability a little bit because I
Mm,
think we as people tend to be afraid to fully let someone in.
Mhm.
And I think that that's also really awesome though that you get to watch Alexis break that down and let Blake in and she's safe and it's okay. And yeah, but I think that that was honestly the most relatable part of her character to me as well. Just like, ah, I'm scared. I've been hurt. I've been burned. I really can't do this ever again. And I'm just gonna pretend like I don't care, but really I care so much. But you're never gonna know that I care so much.
hmm
But
Yeah.
then, I don't know. Vulnerability is a superpower in my opinion. And I
Mm.
think that the second you let that in and you allow yourself to just feel how you feel and not be afraid to show how you feel and tell people how you feel, that's when life turns out to be way better.
Vulnerability is a tricky subject. It's like what you give into that one, like what type of vulnerability you let in can be a
Hmm.
good or a bad thing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's good. Sam, you look like you're thinking about something.
I know. I was like, wow, these are Kathy. These questions are just like really hidden deep.
Cute. All right. Danny, are there any particular acting techniques or approaches you used for this character?
Well, I don't know what it's like to be a serial killer,
I'm
which is
glad.
where this guy was leading his
I hope
life
not.
to. Or threaten somebody with a knife or cut somebody's brakes and wish them ill will. And oh, he really went down that rabbit hole of just bad decisions. I had to justify it by just understanding that he doesn't think he's a bad guy. He thinks he's been wronged and he wants to turn things back to the way they were. The lady
Mm.
boss showed up. That's what it is. And then as he sees that it's just going further and further worse, that's why you see it escalate from, shoving her to throwing paint on her to threatening her to cutting the brakes to then ultimately just taking a knife and he's like, I'm going to come after you. I mean, that's a sign of desperation. And even at the very end, when he's fighting with Sam or Blake's character, Sam's character of Blake, he was like, I think there's a line there where he's like, "Why did you go to her?" Like he kept calling you a bitch, and I was like, God, he kept saying that word so many times, but it was like,
Mm,
how could you, you know, pick her over me? You know what I mean? Almost like he was a hurt, like from a relationship or something like that. But he
mm,
really, you know, I I didn't go into it going, I'm a bad guy. I went into it going, yo, I'm hurting right now. It's not cool. What's going on here? I don't know what to do except just to react, and it just kept getting worse. So that was kind of the homework I did. I just knew I wasn't a bad guy. I just wanted things to go back to the way they were,
yeah.
and there's vulnerability in that.
Mm,
He
yeah.
just reacts in his vulnerable way with anger.
Mm,
Trust me, sometimes they're two sides of the same coin. Why are they overreacting like that? And if you had a chance to talk to them, they'd probably burst out crying if they had a chance to tell you, but they're going to cover it up and try to hurt you because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to show it.
yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on. That's how I kind of, went after him like that.
Yeah. Okay. Was there a moment on set where each of you were inspired by each other?
Like the whole time.
Mm,
Genuinely. Showing up to work with people who were excited to be there and happy and cared about everyone else on set and wanted to do a good job It's so inspiring to just be around that kind of energy and those kinds of people because sometimes you can walk on set and there can be the energy of just like, oh, it's just another job, just a paycheck. But it's like you have to care. You have to be excited about what you're doing. We're all so lucky to be able to have these jobs in the first place. And I don't know, that whole experience, it was just like the whole time I was so inspired by both of you and just everyone, the cast, the crew. It was just, it was so refreshing. It was such a nice palate cleanse of just like, oh, I love you guys.
Mhm.
Feel the
I
Nice.
feel
same.
like,
You know,
yeah, I mean, I just echoing what Haley said, like it's it's interesting because verticals are often campy. They're very theatrical. It's a style of acting that oftentimes it's very over the top. There's a lot of like high energy, big performances, right? It's like kind of
Yeah.
part of the charm of verticals. And that being said, it's a space where I've met some of my favorite scene partners ever. Like
Mhm.
I have had, and Lady Boss is was for me the beginning of that. With Danny, Haley, Rebecca, like these are actors that I was also just inspired by how present they were. I liked the style of memorizing our lines, kind of like Haley, how you said how it's like very spontaneous because I felt like I was kind of in a free fall, and
Mhm.
and that allowed me to be more present, to the moments that I got to have with Danny and Haley and everybody. And so I think the vertical space, I always tell people this, like it's still in its infancy in the US at least. This is a very young creative medium,
Mm.
you
Mhm.
know, and now it's getting popular. You got Fox and Hulu and whoever the hell else has their own vertical divisions coming out. And, all this stuff is happening. But in 10 years from now, I fully believe that there are actors who are getting their starts in verticals who will be collecting, Golden Globes and Emmys and all this stuff. It's just so young that you can't see it yet.
mhm.
And when people can't see it, they don't predict it. But I think being an actor, you're on the front lines of that. And I go home, and obviously these guys, we had an amazing time and made life so much easier as their scene partner. I'm like, wow, it's so easy to act with these people. I was this so many cast or co-stars come to mind, but there's this actress named Skyla. If anybody's worked with Skyla, and I mean, just she's like she did the villain character in that mafia one that I did, and I'm just like
Aw.
sometimes I forget to act because I was so in awe of her performance. Like, and she would bring these like ideas, and I'm like, yo, dude, you are such a big deal. Like, just one
That's
person has to pluck you out of this, and like but I feel that way about a lot of the people I've gotten to work with in the vertical space. And so inspiration is for me at least, inspiration is very easy to come by because the actors that you get to work with are so good, even though
Yeah.
acting is sometimes the thing that I think a person might comment on. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
It's
I
like the
get it.
Yeah.
first thing, they're like, oh, verticals, it's like the soap opera, it's the telenovela, it's the this, and then it's
Yeah.
like, sure, I get that, but I'm also very, very um, inspired by the scene partners I've had. So
Yeah.
I want to add before this ends here that our director was, I forgot her last name, but her name was Tara, right? Was Tara our director? She was great. So she made it very easy to want to work on this and had her vision and would talk to us. So, you always need a good director. And then, there was Bofan and CU who were producers there. They were they
Oh,
were they were they were hands-on on set all the time. Could talk to them at any point in time. So again, they made a great, and the
yeah. I
crew,
mean, Emily was awesome. We had
oh
right?
the makeup artist is amazing.
Right?
Austin
yes,
with
Yeah.
costumes,
Remember Austin?
amazing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We had Winston and
Winston
Sean
was
in the
awesome.
art
Yeah.
department, and they killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone was so
Yeah.
good.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
You're
Everybody
only as good
plays
as
an
your team.
important role.
You're only as good as your team,
And
you know?
Yeah.
exactly that. I think that that is something so important to note too. Like these wouldn't get made without every single person that shows up every day.
yeah.
And yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's so cool. So cool. How lucky are we?
I
Totally.
know a lot of the spotlight goes on the actors, and you guys deserve it, of course, but every single person, if one of them wasn't there, it would throw everything out of balance.
I
Everybody
always say
plays a
that.
very important role. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah. Okay,
And
I've got one
also,
more question. Sorry?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yep. What do you hope audiences will take away from your collective performances?
Ooh.
Don't, you shouldn't kill your boss or try to
Yeah.
kill your boss. If you're having a
Um,
bad day or, your best friend betrays you because he falls in love, you
Out of
probably shouldn't cut
therapy.
somebody's brakes, drop
All
paint
good
on a
advice.
girl, and chase her with a knife through the woods. Probably not a good idea. Doesn't usually end well.
Not for you.
Mm.
Yeah. What about you
did
guys?
you have one, Haley?
I was trying to think of a way to phrase it. I'm not entirely sure. I would say, you know, I think there's some really great takeaways in this. Like, I'm thinking about like my friendship with Grace, for example. That was an unlikely friendship, and
Mm.
trying to figure out a way to word that into something super poetic for you all.
I think for
Um,
me, it's like, did you have it, Haley? Did it
no,
come?
no, no. I was gonna say, like, don't be afraid to open your heart back up.
Yeah. And also, I think like that good, healthy love can be exciting. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I think that's
that's love.
yeah, I think that what's so nice is like it's a good guy and a great woman who's kind of trying to figure out like what makes like it's interesting because I think it's a really modern. This is what I'll say about Lady Boss. This is my closing thought on Lady Boss. Small
Get
town.
it. Get us
There's
down. Get us
several
down.
Lady Bosses. This is the small
Close us
town
out,
balance.
baby. Close us out.
Yeah, I think that it's actually very in line in terms of modern feminism. Actually, oddly, with the vertical space, I think there's a lot of dialogue like, is this misogynistic? There's a lot of because there's a lot of like violence towards women sometimes. There's a lot of like really really crazy stuff in this space, right? And so there's
Absolutely.
that question gets tossed around a lot. And Lady Boss, for example, I have to say, as we're reflecting on it, is it's interesting because Alexis is she's this high powered executive, and she also is somebody who can't seem to get a handle on love. She picks her picker is off. She's picked the wrong
Mhm.
person. She ends up at the right place, but it feels wrong, and then she meets the right guy, and then they both kind of end up together and apart and together and apart, but then at the end she chooses him,
Mm.
and that is it's kind of awesome. She
Mm.
comes back, and I don't know, I just really think, and the way that their dynamic works, it's like Blake is kind of the small town guy, and he's not intimidated by her, he's not off put by her um, lady boss side, but he's also willing to treat her like a woman, like I think, and she wants that, she wants to be treated like a woman, and she also is this high powered exec, and I think those two things can exist. And so that
Mm.
nuance, it doesn't, it's not always easy to come by in general. So
Mm.
for it to exist in the vertical space, I think is like kind of awesome, for it's kind of right, is it's like kind of is like a really feminist
Cut
kind
out.
of.
No, I can agree with you.
Do you
Oh,
think
sorry,
so?
that just completely cut
I
out for a
love that
second
too.
then. Weird.
Lady Boss
What
is a
was your
feminist. baby. I love that.
That's right. I think it is. Do you agree, Haley?
Mhm. I don't think
Yeah.
she hears you. I agree with you,
Oh,
Sam, and I think they should make a sequel where Todd comes back and then he's reformed, and then we see what happens with you two there up there.
that's
That's
right.
what I think happened.
Down for that. Yep, completely down for that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having this interview with me today. It was so lovely speaking to all
Thank
of you.
you.
Thank
And
you.
Haley, this is the first time I'm speaking to you, so this is great.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Kathy, thank you so much. Haley, Sam, I look forward to when we can do this dance, this creative dance again, on the
Mhm.
Right.
screen. That would be really amazing.
Yeah, it was lovely
Mhm.
seeing you too. I can't wait to hopefully see you soon.
Yeah,
Yes.
really, really, I'll put that energy out there. Hopefully we all can do something together again. And Kathy, you're awesome. Know that you're always awesome and continue doing what you're doing. You're getting better with every interview.
Yeah, you're amazing. These are some great questions.
Cut out
Very
again.
thought-provoking. I was like, whoa,
I know. I know.
Kathy, I
Wait, can you
really
think
hear me?
great.
No, it cut out for a second. Sorry.
Oh, we
we
Where
were
did
think
you?
you're
saying how
awesome,
great you
Kathy.
are.
We
Oh,
think you're awesome.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
But
all
All
of
thank
right.
you
you.
so much.
All right. I'll let you guys go and I'll talk to you again very soon.
Sweet. Talk to you later. Bye, you
Bye.
guys.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care, everybody.
Bye.